There we go. All right, now we're live. Theoretically, um, I know it might be hard at times, but we do need to try to keep this a PG-13 broadcast. So if you have any like expletives you need to get out, you can mute the microphone or something. I know it's been a very frustrating season for you guys. Um, so I guess the number one question is, where is your team? Do you guys know? Have you had any contact with any of them?
I actually just got a note back from Ambrose. He's apparently working like 55, 60-hour work weeks that include the game nights. So he's not been available to us for pretty much the whole season.
And so that's one.
Yeah,
What about the rest of them? I mean, at this point, you guys have gone through like 12 teammates, right? Because he kept dropping people and picking up new players. You know, from
yeah,
the
he dropped.
admittedly limited uh, pool that was left at the end of the draft. But
Yeah, the first drop he made, I think, was Gultharak or something like that, to pick up Tarpu. And until that point, Tarpu had been playing and was around. And then after the pickup, he just wasn't. I haven't seen him. And then we dropped Sonoda to pick up Tusser, who pitched for one match and then not since then. So I have tried through the game to contact people and have not been successful. So.
so I mean, you guys have, Lacton was, I think we kind of knew was going to be a risky keep. You know, he can be a strong player at time, or he can be a strong player. You know, obviously he's got kind of a saves issue right now. Honestly, all the furries a while back, a lot of the more like quote unquote spellbait races, like were already on that edge of playability, and then kind of just like took this random saves nerf out of nowhere. So that kind of like hit him into the ground. I know the couple matches Lacton has been in, he's just gotten like spam dispelled.
Yeah, but we also haven't had three people who could support him either.
Yeah,
So, I mean, it's sort of
yeah,
not fair to say that Lacton is an issue when the entire team is the
yeah,
issue.
exactly. But you know, so he's been here a couple of matches. Perithian has been here a couple of matches. Ambrose has never stepped foot in the field. Like, I mean, you said he's working.
Or I thought
Yeah, no, we
Jokor,
played
he won.
we
did
played
you?
with him once. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was for one match we had four, but we had Ambrose and Perithian. So Perithian went in and Ambrose sat, and then for a different match we had it was me, Ethan, Ambrose. So we did have him once on the field with us.
Okay. Um, but I mean, it's a rough position, and I know you know, Brute Squad, the first two seasons of Brutes, we had nowhere near the problems you guys have had. Let me be clear about that. But I have experienced the frustration of being like, just please, anybody log in, like anybody. And so I know that pain to some degree. Where do you guys go from here, though? I guess would be the question. You know, obviously, I guess first off
It's
is, do you,
really
go ahead.
it's hard to say. It's hard to say because um, we've had one of our players leave a note saying that they didn't intend to play next season. So um, if that stands, then we have one of our players who's definitely not going to be with us next season. I think from there we need to sort of work in the off season to make sure that we get people to roll alts that are gonna that are gonna show up. That we sort of gotta fill the team with people who are gonna show up first.
Okay, so I guess that answers one question, which is, you guys do plan to stick it with Quicksilver next
Yeah,
season?
I do.
Um,
Might as well.
I mean, trades are really out of our hands. We can ask to be traded and then not get traded. So I will play with the same level of commitment that I have to Quicksilver for whatever team I happen to be on.
So have either of you? Well, I guess Atheran, you have not. Obviously, from that response. Have either of you? But Ellminaidra, have you approached the idea of, with Ambrose of, getting released next season? Is that something you would be
Ooh.
you've tried to do or want to do?
I haven't got there yet.
Just kind of focused on right now.
I to be honest, a human priest is not going to get any play on any other team. I mean, there's 20 matches, so maybe I'd play twice on your team, or 3 times on another team.
Yeah.
So it's and I'm willing to accept that. I'm willing to, do my part by being there and by playing when it's appropriate for me to play. That's not an issue at all. But if you look at the other rosters, there's just not a spot for a human priest.
I feel you. So that makes sense. You want to try and stick where you have the best option of actually getting played, and just kind of hope that next season the draft can, kind of bring you guys into a position to compete.
Yeah, I don't even think we could be competitive next year. But fielding a full team every week would be
a step up.
Would go a long way.
At least making it a little more fun.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, like tonight's game, while it was very charitable for Galaglass to come out at us 2-2.
Uh-oh, did we lose you?
I think we lost her.
Yeah, we lost her. Alright, let's see if she comes back here. Yes, Skype, I'm aware there's a problem with the call. Thank you. Alright, stream. Bear with us for a second. Skype is trying to get them back on the line. Fun. Alright, but yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. What she was saying is that, if you look at the other teams, there really kind of isn't a place for a human priest. We've got... Let's see... Galaglass. I mean, Hydra is probably not looking to pick up another human, right? So Galaglass has, they've already got their priest situated with Bardock. They've got Hydra has. Hydra will be looking to pick up a few players, but with already having a Scald and a Shadow Knight and a Druid as kind of their core, they're probably not too focused on a priest either, especially not yet another evil one.
The Sharks actually did attempt to trade us earlier on, just before the mark, but Ambrose never answered back.
Rough. I mean, that would have been at least, gotten you on a team where even if you're not being fielded every night,
right,
you gotta when you are getting fielded, you feel like you have a chance.
Well, they were talking about it right after Kuromaru's big spiel of not doing too well on that one match, of taking her over him.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they had, let me pull up Sharks' roster real quick. So okay, if you look at Sharks roster, taking Ellminaidra over Kuramaru, obviously I think Ellminaidra's like proven to be just incredibly dedicated, so always there. And you know, if they had you, that'd be a good play as well. You know, I don't know that you would fit in too well in their current lineup, but you know, playing the long game, if they're counting on you getting Shadow Knight, then all of a sudden that puts them in a very strong position next season.
Right.
Which is going to be interesting to see. You know, if you do make it before next season, and you know, Shadow Knights can be kind of a pain in the ass to level if you do it the old-fashioned way. But we'll see. All right, are you back with us?
I am. I randomly lost power, so but
Oh,
I'm
fun.
back now.
Always good.
Yeah.
Okay, we lost you around
Yeah, about
charitable.
tonight's match. Yeah, I mean it was really kind and charitable of them to come out 2-2, but we really knew that they weren't going to let us cap. Um, I
Yeah, I mean at this point for them the captures are really important for those three teams fighting for that third place spot. So it's understandable, I think.
yeah,
Well,
from on the one hand, I wish that they would have just come out and blown us to pieces and just gotten it over with. I sort of feel like they were screwing with us a little bit. But as Rekla pointed out, and I think it was like too close to the end of the match, so I was maybe a little dismissive of what he said, but that we forced him to come out with more when we were performing well against the
yeah.
two that they sent out. So
And I also
it's
have to think
a
that and you know, like I said, it's they're not in a points race with Sharks, but if you look at the standings, the like first place and second place are locked up. Stars and Sharks or Stars and Brutes have those two positions. That third place spot is Card Sharks right now in third place, 7-9 wins and losses. Gallowglass 7-9 wins and losses. Hydra 7-9 wins and losses. So
yeah,
like
but at the start of this week with our match Sunday, we had everyone else once and Sharks twice. So I mean, our contribution to the race is that we're giving Sharks 2 wins from this week forward, and everybody else won.
yeah. So that's
So
gonna be
it's
kind of that's an edge for Sharks for sure.
yeah. I mean, if you look at the
And they're already winning the points game severely over the other two teams.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I don't. I sort of didn't see Gallowglass
being a contender.
as in it for the length of the season. So
I mean, if they,
well,
I mean, it's kind of a big if, but if Sharks can take out Stars on Sunday, they'll have it locked down for sure. And honestly, it'd be kind of interesting to see that just because it would show that the playoffs is going to be a game no matter what happens. But let me take a look at this. So if Sharks beats Hydra or beats Stars, it would have to be like two of those teams would have to beat Stars in order for Stars to lose that first place spot. But that's kind of getting away from the point. Sorry, we're here to talk about you guys. Just what would you like to see for the next season? Like so you're gonna stay with the Quicksilver. You're gonna try and stick it out. I was telling Atheran, chances are good that he might be a Shadow Knight by the time that happens to roll around, right?
Don't push that, man.
No.
I might be dead.
or permadead, yeah.
All right. Well, it's a coin toss, really. But the potential is there. Let's say that. That gives you guys a priest and a Shadow Knight to start from. And so you've got kind of that a decent core there, and then you just need to build up some utility and some damage, preferably off alignment. You don't want to
Um,
fall into the current Hydra trap of everybody being the same alignment if you
yeah,
can
I
help
think
it.
we need some racial diversity too.
For
I,
sure.
I I mean, just looking at our roster, the only thing bigger than a human is Lacton, and he's not showing up. So we have some race issues.
Yeah, I think I pointed out in a little expose earlier that Quicksilver is a bunch of racists. Nothing new to see here. I mean, you're run by Shadow,
Yeah.
obviously.
Nope. Yep.
It's gonna
It's our
happen.
purist philosophy.
Sons of bitches. Um, but I mean, what do you do? Like, do you try and convince people, like actually convince people to make alts for ACFL? Like, how does that? It's such a risk because
I
then maybe they get drafted by somebody else. Do you have to like look at the other team's rosters, find things that they don't that nobody else needs, and get people to make that?
well, I mean, we're gonna get the first pick, right?
Yes.
So we need to make that pick count. Um, I mean that's got to be Grendel or Rekla.
Yeah.
Someone who's gonna come and
It's gonna be
be
somebody that you can field every single night, and that can be like
yes,
a playmaker every
that's
single
gonna
night.
be a force on the field.
Um.
Um, yeah, yeah.
So.
So I mean, we need to make that first pick work, and depending on the other teams, I mean, Quicksilver only had 2 picks this year, so you know, the roster was full, I guess. And I think if the other teams get the staying power that Stars has, that there's going to be fewer risks with good players going to other teams.
Mhm.
I
I
mean,
mean,
do you see yourself how many of your current roster do you see yourself dropping?
well, I had a forum post at some point, laying this out, but I think most teams like are gonna like let's say brutes are gonna drop. Let's see, like brutes. I mean, it all depends on like how long before the
Well,
next
but I mean,
season, who
but
who's still
let's
around
say
can.
every single team drops 2. Okay,
Mhm.
Quicksilver are dropping 6.
Yeah.
So by the time we get to that 5th and 6th pick, yeah, we're going to be scraping bottom of the barrel, but we got to make the early picks count.
Mhm. And that's gonna be the case where everybody else is dropping. Every other team except for who was it I looked at? I think uh like brutes, stars, uh, sharks, and Hydra, I think it was, are dropping like maybe 2 people, and then like Galaglass, I think it was, drops maybe 3 people, and then you guys basically have, like you said, 5 or 6 people to pick up.
Yeah.
And that 2 people is maybe a stretch for some of those teams like stars. Maybe they pick up 1 person. Maybe they pick up no people. Same like brutes too. Like we might only pick up like 1 person. It's
Yeah, I mean if you're happy with your roster and you got guys who are going to commit to playing every night, then there's no reason to drop.
mhm.
So I think what's going to happen next season for the draft is that all the picks are going to be Quicksilvers, sort of. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah.
And it'll be dependent. There's always a possibility that a new team could get added, especially because it's starting to feel like a, most of the teams kind of like have their rosters set to some degree. depending on how long until the next season again. But I think Scorn's going to probably start it up relatively soon. There's always the possibility though of an additional team, which could kind of give you somebody to fight with as far as that goes. But
I
still, that seems
yeah,
unlikely.
I can't see I can't see putting new teams into the mix when you don't have you don't have full teams every week.
Hmm.
And I know it's just my team that's dropping the ball here, but how do you justify bringing 8 more players in on another team, or 16 if you're going to bring in 2 teams to make it to stick with even numbers, when Gallowglass has had short teams this season, and Quicksilver has fielded a full team twice or 3 times, I think. How do you justify bringing 16 players, and it is players, it's not characters, 16 players into the mix when you can't get,
Yeah.
the ones you need already?
I think at least my hope would be that after this season with the broadcast and all that, the next draft will be much larger than it was this year in particular. Um, I think we've managed to successfully drum up a good bit of interest. Ashby as well has done a great job, I think, with the ACFL news posts and things like that, and helping to kind of drum up interest. So hopefully, next time we'll get into a lot of people. I've had a lot of people tell me that if they could sign up now, they would when they didn't earlier. So hopefully that's the case.
Well, I think if that's something that needs to be looked at, then that's something that you as a team owner can bring into the rules. That you have a second sign up period after the 15th game, you know, to
Um,
bring in new players. Because the signups were in what, early December?
uh, believe that's correct.
So
Let me see.
you're asking people in December to commit to something that ends in mid-March.
Let me take a look. Where's the damn draft page? I'm trying to look at draft. Where's draft. Here we
It's
go.
on the
Yes, December 28th is when Scorn posted the like the official draft start for
It,
the
it,
teams, like for the
it was
teams that
just
actually
bad timing
announced.
this time because
Yeah,
of
it happened during
Christmas.
like right around Christmas. It was kind of rushed because it had been 2 years since the last season, and Scorn was just kind of like, let's just do this, get it over with. It was not really any kind of run up to it or anything. It was during the holiday season. So, yeah, I do think next season we can have kind of a little bit more warning, a little bit more time to get people interested and drum up a little bit more support, which hopefully will mean more options for you guys as well. Because it's hard to get a good team together. You know,
Yeah.
Sharks have or Stars have
We wouldn't know about that.
it's taken me a few seasons to put together a good team that can win championships and show up a full team. Stars have kind of had that all uh, all ACFL, but the rest of us have kind of had to work a little bit harder for it. Um, but yeah, I guess anything you guys want to go over, or is that about sum things up?
Really, that's it. I mean, we're at the point now where, and we've been here actually for a couple games. I feel like given our situation, we are not learning anything new about how ACFL works.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we basically what our strategy is and has been the entire season is to harass the other side as much as possible.
Harass them.
You know, well, yeah. I mean, you know, we're not going to stop caps. We're not going to make our own caps. We are, you know, maybe we can get a toast. More than likely, we can't. Um, so really our position in every match is to be irritable. You know, go
Wait.
and attack the flag carrier.
We did get a toast tonight, though.
We did.
You did.
We did. Um, we
You
did,
killed
and
Arthas.
we did. We probably could have killed Ferg too, but we knew that that there was two more in the room that were just gonna come out and replace them when we were pretty beat up at that point.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, they may have had. Yeah, like I said, they didn't want to let the capture happen because there's still the potential for that tiebreaker. But they also might have had M's in there, kind of being like, "Come on, guys, let's finish this." I know I've had to deal with that a little bit when I've fielded less than a full team, just to try and make things interesting.
Huh. Was not aware of that.
The M's don't like the delays necessarily. They're willing to tolerate it to a point, you know, because they do kind of want to see a good fight as well, but they don't want to see it drag on too long needlessly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest, if someone wants to give us a fair fight and only field two players, then only send two players in at all.
The issue with that is the time thing. Like I said, the match is not like ACFL is not set up for like a 2v2 kind of thing. If you do that, you get to a position where you can't actually, like, nobody can cap. It's just a stalemate. like you kill off, let's say one person dies for one team, somebody dies for the other team. Then it goes down to one person on the field. They start to cap. They try and move it across the flag. The first guy respawns, kills him, starts to cap. Then the other guy respawns, kills. You just get into like this weird kind of situation where nobody can capture because it's just not built for that situation.
Yeah.
So I don't think that like that's ever gonna happen. But
I don't know. I felt pretty confident until the other two were there. Like, I felt like if it was just those two, we could have done it.
Yeah, I do think you guys had, like, you could have captured 2-on-1, but situations where it can kind of, like, get into this thing where nobody can capture.
Right.
And, you know, obviously, I mean, I get you guys probably realize this, but they kind of could have just, like, choked you out and then captured that way.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, like, it didn't have to work out that way. But they wanted to kind of fight it out. But yeah, I guess we'll kind of end it here, unless you guys have any closing statements, I guess.
Not any that are fit for public consumption.
All right.
Right.
I'll just leave it at that.
All right. Thank you guys for coming on. Thank you for being as dedicated to ACFL as you have been so far. I know, I mean, just as somebody that loves every competitive aspect of DSL, I'm grateful when people take things seriously and are dedicated to it. So thank you guys for putting in the effort, even if nobody else does. And hopefully you guys can put something together next season and come out there and kick ass. So I'll be rooting for you.
Thanks. That's nice to hear.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice.
All right. Thank you guys for coming on, and have a good night.